This week said Parshat Tazria Metzora, we see that the Torah is so marich the inyan of dibu, the inyan of tzaras, the inyan of a person has a mark on his hand. Today, there's 72 kinds of tzaras. You do the story of a Moshe Feinstein. Once davened in the shul, in the yeshiva, and he saw the Talmud, or the one next to him, and he asked him, "Tell me, why do you have tzaras on your hand?" So he said he spoke up against the daughters of Lot. How did they go with the father? So he asked Mechila, and the tzaras went away. Tzaras, the Ramban brings down, it's something lemala miderech hateva, and if it's tzaras habatim, it's only in Eretz Yisrael. How could it be a zazach in Mitzius that the clothes should get tzaras? Clothes is a dova doimim. It's like the table. It's like the chair. It's like a pen. It's like a piece of paper. How does the clothes get tzaras? What is tzaras? The Rambam brings down, it's the inyan which is lemala b'derech hateva, the whole inyan of tzaras. Why? Why does the Kodesh Baruch Hu bring it to us? What is exactly tzaras? The Ramban brings down that tzaras is a za inyan that Kodesh Baruch Hu kavi yochol is sitting on the person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts his kedusha on the person. If the person doesn't behave himself, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes his kedusha away. And in the ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu samei alav, because the person gets negoim. And why does he get negoim? Because he spoke lashon hara with his mouth. Why do we see that our parsha makes it so long, the inyan of tzaras, of negoim, of this kind of tzaras, that kind of tzaras, this kind of tumor, that kind of tumor. And Masha'en came, for example, Hilchas Shabbos, Hilchas Gittin and Kiddushin. Come out in the Torah, it doesn't say so much about Shabbos, besides V'chul Shemai V'oretz, besides Lo Yisavaru Eish B'chol Moish V'yisecha B'yom Shabbos, besides a few other things about Mon, you mustn't go out of the Machane, you mustn't carry on the Mishkan. But the Torah we don't see so much marich about Shabbos, Hilchas Gittin, Hilchas Kiddushin, Hilchas Ksuvas, Hilchas other things, like the Torah is so marich about Metzora, about Tzaras. Why? Because the Nekuda is, the thought is, what makes a person into a human being? The Koyach HaDibur, that a person can speak. Imagine a person comes to this world and he's dumb. You ask him what's his name? No, well, how old are you? You can't speak. But wait, are you the son of Moshe? You can't talk. He can't talk and he can't speak, and he's in his own world, and it's a terrible matzav, and that's what's brought down in the posuk in Tehillim Yud Beis. That's what Yerushalmi brings down. If a person does, for example, avodah zorah, or gile aroyos, or shvichas domim, it's those three terrible aveiros. But lashon hara is worse. Lashon hara is worse than these three aveiros. Now we're in the Doya Sheker, and people say, this guy murdered. He's got a din of suk bet. He's like secondly. He's worth nothing. Or this person did this and this. He served avodah zohar. He's worth nothing. And you think that the person who speaks lashon hara, he's something mechubat. He's a very choshev person. It's aderabba punkt verkehrt. The sound who speaks lashon hara, the pasuk says in Tehillim Yud Beis, Yachis Hashem kol sivsei chalokois loshoit medaberes gedoylois. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will cut off the tongue of this person, which the person melashon medaberes gedoylois. What does gedoylois mean? Yerushalmi brings down in Perek Aleph Halacha Aleph that by these three aveiros, avodah gila royes shvichas domim, it says gedoylo loshon yochid. But by avodah but by lashon hara it says loshon medaberes gedoylois loshon rabim. Why? Because lashon hara is much worse. Why is lashon hara much worse? What makes a person to get a tzelem elokim? The koyach hadibur. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us vayipach ba'apov nishmas chaim. Nishmas chaim is the koyach memalalo. That's what's sitting in the Posuk in Parshas Breshis, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us Ruach Memalalo. Ruach Memalalo is the dibur. Like a person takes a balloon, and he puts the balloon on his mouth, and he puts in air. Or the guy's got a wheel, and he pumps it, he's got a puncture. A nail went in the tire. So nowadays maybe they have different tires, but once upon a time in the tire used to be a round thing. It used to pump in air. Imagine a guy's got a hole in the tire, so the air goes out. Again, he has a puncture. He can't drive like this. It's dangerous. We have ruach mamalalo. Hashem we say Hashem yotzes odom chochmo, and the whole thing is Hashem mafli lasois. How can you have a balloon with the holes in it, and the air stays inside? How can our body have holes on top, holes underneath, and the air stays inside? HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us a present, which is air, oxygen, ruach mamalalo. Oxygen is a present from Hashem. Person breathes. In the times of Corona, people couldn't breathe. They had to have a breathing machine, and some people survived it, and some people didn't survive it. Some say that Corona was like Askara. Often no one knew. The marshal brings down Masechet Zivor Samach Beis. Talmidei Rabbi Akiva spoke Lashon Hara against the other person, against his friend, and he got Askara. Askara, the Gemara brings down Masechet Bochas Daf Ches. It's very hard Misa. The easiest Misa is like taking the hair out of the milk. And the person should ask, the person Posek brings down, person should tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to have an easy movis, to die easy, to like taking the Mises Neshika. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes the hair out of the milk. Or Chas v'Sholom, a person has a hard Misa, that he has to take out the like schlepping a rope to the person's throat. Terrible Mises, like Askara. What does Askara come from? The Gemara brings down Shabbos Lamed Gimel Omed Aleph. Askara comes from Lashon Hara. That a person speaks Lashon Hara, or Moitzi Shemra. The person asks the other one, the person is a Shatran, or a person's anything. What do you say about Yena? Yena, nothing. It's all luxury. He does nothing. He just sleeps all day, doesn't even learn, walks around the streets, and smokes and eats garinim and does nothing. It's very easy to passel Yena. Someone who passes Yena, you can bring shidduchim, you can make the person ill, the person can have a heart attack, a person can die. Koyach HaDibur is one of the main inyonim which joins a person to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If a person knows his koyach HaDibur, the koyach of speaking, makes him joined to Melech Malchei Amlochem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the biggest neshek, the biggest cement, oil, the biggest glue. What joins us to Hashem? How are we joined to Melech Malchei Amlochim? How do we build worlds on top? How do we fulfill our life in this world through only speaking? Imagine a person comes into the world and keeps his mouth shut. He comes to the world 100 years and he keeps his mouth shut for 100 years. So he doesn't speak Lashon Hara. Why? Because he doesn't open his mouth. It's like someone who's autist or Mongol. He can't speak. You don't understand what he's talking about. He's bottom. That's what the Chazon Ish said. That all these children, if he comes in the room, you have to stand up for them. They're potter from Kol HaTorah Kula because they can't speak. So you have to stand up for them. You must have a very holy neshama. The way we are joined to Melech Malchei Amlochim is through the dibur, through the speaking, through we say Tehillim, we daven, Baruch Hu Baruch Shemoy, we may say a bracha, we learn Torah. It's Taka Baraisa, Bora Alma. Kadosh Baruch Hu looked in the Torah, created the world. Asorah Amoris, Vayoyim Hashem Yi Oy, Vayoyim Hashem. Asorah Amoris, Koyach HaDibur. Who is Metama the person? The person himself. People come up to him and they say they want to mix with him. No. He spoke Lashon Hara. Poor guy. He spoke Lashon Hara. And he has to take all his kelim out of the house. And the whole world sees that Mr. So-and-so takes his beds and his fridge and his foim and his table and chairs, everything outside. People ask him, Reb Reuven, Are you moving? No, I'm not moving. So why take all the furniture out? Well, it's not Pesach now, not Pesach. Then they see the Kohen comes and he looks in the house and he looks in the with his magnifying glass and he tells, yes, Rabbi Yankel, you have to go out to the machane. You have tzaras. You have to go out. If he's choiz to be tshuva, good. If not, the tzaras comes to his beged or comes to his housing. Terrible thing, terrible thing. And he has a long beard. He cut off his whole beard, all his hair. He goes like terrible, like people go through, have chas v'sholom, cancer, and they go through terrible things, and all his hair falls out. And he had a long beard. He was the gabbai of the shul. He's the rabbi, or he sold in the store, in the makolet, in the supermarket. And suddenly, from one day to the next, for a few months, this person, you won't see him in the store. You won't see him downtown. You won't see him the gabbai of the shul. People ask the children, and the wife has to stay alone at home. And where's your husband? He's down there. He has to be chutz lemachane. Why? Because he spoke Lashon Hara, or Achilles, or Moitzi Shemra, which shows us our ammunition, our koyach of every single human being is the koyach hadibur. We know al yedei the koyach hadibur v'chol hayotzim mipiv yaser. If a person is machshir his mouth, a person has a holy mouth, a person has a mouth of kedusha and tara, and he keeps his mouth shut. Who is mekadosh the person? The person himself. Call a person is mekadosh himself milamala. That a person is mekadosh himself milamato. A person shoyme mitzoretz nafshoy. Person looks after his mouth. He doesn't say nothing out of. He measures each word which comes out of his mouth, like we see by the Talmidei Chachomim of Amolei Gedolos. Used to always watch the mouth, whatever comes out of the mouth. Then they keep their mouth shut. They don't talk, but just to sit down, kat misapri Lashon Hara, chas v'chelila, ele chelik l'olam habo. That's what the Chofetz Chaim says. But someone regards his mouth, then the Gaon says, v'chol rega v'rega, every second that a person closes his mouth, zoiche bishviloi to oy agonus she'ein malach or beria yucholim l'sha'er. If a person watches his mouth and keeps his mouth shut, he doesn't open his mouth on every single thing, then of course a person he's joined to Hashem. He asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please do me a favor, please send the voice Shalema to Moshe ben Yaakov, please send the voice Shalema to Dino ben Leah, please send the voice Shalema to this and this. Of course HaKadosh Baruch Hu send the voice Shalema, because the person got a holy mouth, person washes his mouth, keeps his mouth. But if a person has got a dirty mouth, and he fills up his mouth with dirt, so it's like a person walks around with a dirty mouth. Of course, no one wants to see people tell him, please close your mouth smells. To have a holy mouth, you have to clean the mouth. And by cleaning the mouth, is not al yedei only toothpaste. It's al yedei that a person guards his mouth. That's what the Gemara says. By each aver, if a person wants to steal, he takes his hand and he steals. But from the mouth, a person has got two shmiras. He's got a wall of meat and there's a wall of stone. That's the teeth, and that's to close his mouth. Through the person closing his mouth and closing his teeth, that the person won't be able to speak at all. That's why our parsha is so marich, is so long of Parshat Tazria Metzora, to tell us that the way which we are getting joined to Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu is al yedei koyach hadibur. That's the ruach mamalalo, which a person HaKadosh Baruch Hu was put into our mouth al yedei nishmas chaim. He blew oxygen into the Odam Rishon, and for Atzov Kol HaDoros, we have oxygen, and it's all mafli lasois. It's the malim b'derech hateva. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us al yedei these two parshios that we're going through it. Bezat Hashem, we'll of course watch our mouth and keep our mouth and guard our mouth, and shoymer and moves b'chaim b'yad ha'loshoin. And we all know mi ish Chofetz Chaim oiv yom le'eres toiv nitzol v'shol chamero u'sfesecha midaber mimo.